You've probably heard the usual advice: eat well, sleep early, stay active. But what if I told you that some of the things we do every single day, like what we eat, where we sleep, or where we spend time, could actually be speeding up aging, weakening your organs, and in some cases, even bringing you closer to a premature death? Sounds dramatic? It's not. It's biological reality. Especially after 60, when your body is more vulnerable, your immune system slows down, and small daily choices carry bigger consequences. Today, we're uncovering 3 everyday foods that seem harmless, but are slowly hurting you. 3 places you should never sleep because they silently damage your brain and heart. And 4 places you should avoid staying too long, especially if you want to protect your mental and physical health as you age. And we're not just listing problems. We'll tell you why they matter, what the science says, and what you can do right now to protect yourself. So if you're someone who still believes aging can be smart, graceful, and independent, this is your video. Food number 1, white bread, the innocent staple that starves your brain. Let's be honest, most people over 60 still start their day with something like toast, a sandwich, or maybe a dinner roll. It's easy, familiar, feels light. But here's what nobody tells you. White bread might be one of the worst things you can eat as you get older, especially for your brain, heart, and energy levels. White bread is what we call a simple carb, but don't let that innocent name fool you. The second it hits your mouth, it breaks down into sugar, not over time, not gradually, instantly. And that sugar surge does 2 things. It causes a spike in blood sugar and then an even sharper crash. That crash, it's what makes you feel sluggish, foggy, even dizzy, like your brain's running on fumes by mid-morning. But the bigger problem is chronic inflammation. When you eat simple carbs every day, your blood sugar doesn't just spike, it stays elevated for longer. And high blood sugar equals more inflammation, more pressure on your arteries, more stress on your heart. And if you're already over 60, your system just can't handle that kind of daily roller coaster like it used to. Dr. Elaine Matthews, a geriatric nutritionist, once put it bluntly, "I'd rather a 70-year-old eat a spoon of butter than a slice of white bread. At least fat doesn't cause the kind of blood sugar chaos that ages the brain and damages circulation." And here's something even more surprising. White bread also contains almost 0 fiber. That means it doesn't keep you full, doesn't feed your good gut bacteria, and can lead to constipation. One of the most under-discussed struggles among seniors. So what can you do instead? You don't have to give up bread entirely, but switch to a high-fiber, low-GI alternative. Think sprouted grain bread, rye bread, or even oat-based versions. These don't spike your blood sugar, they keep you full longer, and they feed your brain instead of fogging it. And here's a small tip with a huge impact. If you absolutely love white bread, have it only in the afternoon. Not first thing in the morning when your cortisol is naturally high and blood sugar is most reactive. A smarter swap at the right time can literally protect your heart and memory. Because at this age, food isn't just food, it's medicine or poison. Food number 2, low-fat yogurt, the healthy snack that weakens bones and fuels cravings. Let's switch things up. Quick question. When was the last time you reached for something labeled low-fat because it sounded healthier? If you're over 60, chances are yesterday. And if that healthy item was low-fat yogurt, it might have done the exact opposite of what you hoped. Let's bust a myth. For years, we were told fat is bad, that it clogs your arteries and makes you gain weight. So food companies started stripping out the fat and replacing it with something else, sugar. Lots of it. That low-fat yogurt sitting in your fridge, it often contains more sugar than a candy bar, just to make up for the taste that disappears when fat is removed. Now here's where it gets serious. When you eat sugar without fat or fiber, your blood sugar spikes. And when that happens repeatedly, your insulin goes up, inflammation kicks in, and your bones actually begin to weaken over time. Yes, excess sugar is linked to calcium loss. And for seniors, that's a deal breaker. Weak bones, brittle joints, higher risk of fractures even from a minor fall. But it doesn't end there. Most low-fat yogurts are also low in vitamin D and magnesium. both critical for bone strength and mood stability. So what are you really eating? A cold spoonful of empty promises, wrapped in pretty packaging. I remember a patient named Helen, 72, who came in with persistent joint pain. She exercised, took her supplements, even drank milk. But every morning she had low-fat vanilla yogurt for breakfast. Once we swapped it for a full-fat, unsweetened version with chia seeds and cinnamon, her cravings disappeared, her digestion improved, and her energy shot up. What's the smarter move? Go back to full fat. That's right. Choose plain Greek yogurt, rich in healthy fats and probiotics. Add your own berries, nuts, or even a drizzle of honey if needed. You control the sugar, and your bones will thank you. Because aging isn't about eating less. It's about eating smarter. Food number 3, packaged soup and instant noodles. The quick comfort that's slowly killing your kidneys. Let's come at this from a different angle, a real moment. It's cold, you're tired, you just want something warm, quick, and easy. You reach for that instant noodle cup or that packaged soup that's been sitting in the pantry. You tell yourself, it's light, it's not a heavy meal, just something to keep me going. But here's the trap. What you're really getting in that quick comfort is a hidden storm of salt, artificial additives, and inflammation, especially dangerous for anyone over 60. Let's talk sodium. The average packet of instant noodles or canned soup contains more than your entire day's worth of salt. One cup can have 1,200 to 1,800 milligrams of sodium, and when your kidneys are already slowing down with age, your blood vessels stiffen and your risk of high blood pressure increases. That's like adding fuel to a fire. And then there's MSG and preservatives, the stuff that keeps these products tasting good and lasting forever on shelves. But in your body, they've been linked to headaches, dizziness, swelling, and even long-term neurological issues in some sensitive individuals. And don't be fooled by the size of the portion. What looks like a small bowl of noodles expands in your stomach, full of low-grade carbs with barely any fiber or real nutrients. It fills you, but it doesn't nourish you. And worse, it leaves you hungrier a few hours later. So you snack more, you crave more, and the cycle continues. Now here's a story I'll never forget. Mr. Raymond, 76, came in with rising blood pressure and swollen ankles. When we reviewed his diet, he proudly said, "I don't eat junk, just soup most evenings." That's soup, canned chicken noodle, every night for 6 months. Once we swapped it for a homemade broth with real vegetables and herbs, his swelling reduced, his blood pressure stabilized, and his doctor said his kidney function actually improved. So here's the takeaway. Comfort doesn't have to come from a package. Make a simple soup at home. Boiled lentils, carrots, garlic, and spinach. Add turmeric and pepper for anti-inflammatory benefits. Or batch cook and freeze portions for the week. Yes, it takes 10 extra minutes, but it might add 10 extra years to your life. Because the easiest food isn't always the kindest food, and after 60, your body deserves kindness, not shortcuts. Now that we've uncovered the hidden dangers in some everyday meals, let's shift focus to something just as critical, but often ignored, where you rest your body. Because believe it or not, the place you sleep can be just as important as what you eat. Place number 1, sleeping in the living room recliner. The quiet habit that silently hurts your spine, lungs, and heart. Let's be honest, this one starts out as comfort. It's after dinner. You're watching TV. The recliner is tilted just right. The room is cozy, and before you know it, you're asleep. And maybe you think, what's the harm? I'm just resting. But here's what many don't realize. Falling asleep in a recliner isn't real rest. It's compromised rest. And over time, it chips away at your health like water dripping on stone. Here's why. Recliners don't support your spine the way a flat mattress does. Over time, your neck tilts forward or sideways, compressing nerves and blood vessels. Your lower back doesn't fully relax, which stiffens your muscles overnight. And your legs, often left bent or slightly elevated, interfering with blood flow and increasing the risk of leg swelling and even clots in people with circulation issues. But the biggest danger is what happens to your lungs and breathing. When you sleep in a semi-sitting position, night after night, especially if you doze off after eating, gravity pushes upward on your diaphragm. That makes breathing shallower. Your lungs don't expand fully, And that's when you're at greater risk for nighttime oxygen drops, snoring, or even undiagnosed sleep apnea. And guess what? Sleep apnea isn't just about snoring. It's about mini strokes, heart strain, and cognitive decline over time. Here's something most people never connect. If you wake up in the morning feeling tired, heavy in the chest, or slightly lightheaded, and you slept in a recliner the night before, your sleep wasn't healing you, it was working against you. Now, of course, we're not saying never enjoy a nap on the recliner, but don't let it become your default bed, especially not after 60. Here's a better approach. If you feel drowsy in the living room, get up and stretch for 30 seconds. Drink a glass of water, then move to your actual bed. Use a supportive pillow and elevate your legs slightly if needed, but keep your spine flat, because sleep isn't just rest. Sleep is repair, and if your body isn't in the right position, it can't heal the way it's supposed to. Place you shouldn't sleep number 2. Hotel rooms without sunlight. The invisible toll on your body clock. It sounds like luxury. A clean bed, quiet environment, room service at the push of a button. But many hotel rooms, especially budget ones or those located in inner-city buildings, don't have proper windows. Some are windowless altogether. And here's the problem. Your body doesn't just crave comfort, it craves light. Without sunlight exposure in the morning, your internal body clock, your circadian rhythm, gets completely thrown off. You might fall asleep fine, but wake up feeling groggy, disoriented, or even slightly depressed without knowing why. This is especially true after 60, when melatonin production naturally decreases, and your brain relies more heavily on natural light to regulate sleep, appetite, and even mood. Now think about this. Seniors who stay in dim or windowless environments for just a few days are more likely to experience appetite loss, confusion, anxiety, and even muscle fatigue. It's not just the bed, it's the missing sunlight. And if you've ever gone on a trip, stayed in a nice room, but still felt off afterward, this could be why. A 2021 study published in Chronobiology International found that older adults exposed to less than 30 minutes of natural light per day had a 3 times greater risk of sleep disorders, mood swings, and delayed recovery after illness. That's how powerful light is. So what's the takeaway? If you're traveling or staying somewhere new, choose a room with a window that gets morning sun. Open the curtains as soon as you wake up. Better yet, step outside for a few minutes. Let your eyes and skin register the day. Even 10 minutes of natural morning light can reset your rhythm, boost alertness, and help you sleep deeper at night. Because where you sleep isn't just about the mattress, it's about what surrounds it. If this made you think twice about your next overnight stay, comment below. Let the light in. Your sleep, your hormones, and even your heart will thank you. Place you shouldn't sleep number 3. Hospital waiting areas or long-term care chairs. The false comfort that worsens recovery. We've all done it or seen it happen. You're accompanying a loved one in the hospital, or you've been admitted for observation. You sit in that stiff recliner or curl up on a waiting room chair thinking, I'll just close my eyes for a bit. But here's what no one tells you. These are some of the worst places for an aging body to rest, especially after 60. Let's be clear, it's not the act of being in a hospital. It's the way we sleep there. These spaces are not designed for proper rest. The lighting is artificial and constant. The chairs don't support your spine. Noise from machines, nurses walking, beeping monitors, they all combine into what's known as sleep fragmentation. It's where your brain stays in a light stage of sleep, never reaching deep rest, even if your eyes are closed for hours. But the real damage, it's what happens after. Older adults who sleep poorly in these environments often experience sudden spikes in blood pressure, confusion, or hospital delirium, poor appetite, slower wound healing, and an overall sense of emotional burnout. According to the Journal of Geriatric Medicine, patients over 60 who spent more than 2 nights sleeping in chairs or unadjusted beds during hospital stays had up to 40% longer recovery times. That's right. Bad sleep in bad places delays healing, sometimes dramatically. So what should you do if you're in that situation? Speak up. Ask for a proper bed, a sleep kit, or even a temporary restroom. If you're there to support someone else, take turns with family members. Don't sacrifice your rest. And if you must sleep there, bring a neck pillow, earplugs, and a blanket. The body heals when it feels safe. And no matter how tough the situation, your health matters too. So next time you find yourself nodding off in a hospital hallway chair, remember this: you can't help anyone if you're running on empty. Comment below, rest right, heal faster, if you believe sleep should always support recovery, not slow it down. We've talked about what you eat and where you sleep, two things that silently shape how your body feels every single day after 60. But there's one more part of this equation we often ignore: where you spend your time. Not just for a few minutes, but for hours, sometimes daily, without realizing the toll it's taking. Because just like the wrong meal can raise your blood pressure, and the wrong sleeping position can leave you dizzy and sore, the wrong environment can slowly drain your energy, weaken your immune system, and even affect how long you live. So now, let's uncover the 3 specific places you should avoid staying for too long after 60, and why walking away from these spots could be one of the best health choices you'll ever make. Place number 1, near busy roads or high-traffic areas, the silent air that ages you. At first glance, it might not seem like a big deal. You're just sitting on the porch, living in a downtown apartment, or visiting a friend whose home faces a busy road. But what you can't see in that air is what makes it dangerous, especially after the age of 60. Researchers have found that living or spending extended time near high-traffic zones significantly increases your exposure to fine particulate matter, tiny pollutants from cars, trucks, and exhaust that enter your lungs and bloodstream without you noticing. Over time, this exposure is linked to inflammation, increased blood pressure, and even faster brain aging. That's right, just breathing near a highway can speed up cognitive decline and weaken your immune system. And for seniors already dealing with weaker lungs, heart conditions, or memory issues, this kind of exposure isn't just risky, it's deadly. According to a 2021 study published in Environmental Health Perspectives, elderly people living within 200 meters of busy roads were at higher risk of stroke, dementia, and cardiovascular disease, even if they never smoked a day in their life. But here's the surprising part: you don't have to live there to be at risk. Spending long hours in traffic-heavy areas, walking, waiting, or simply sitting outside can have the same effects over time. So what's the solution? If possible, avoid staying outdoors for long, near congested roads, especially during peak traffic hours, early morning and late afternoon. Keep your windows closed during rush hour. If you love your walks, choose a park or quiet neighborhood instead of city streets. And indoors, consider adding a HEPA air purifier to your living room or bedroom. It's one of the simplest investments that can quietly protect your lungs and brain. Because sometimes the danger isn't what you see, it's what you breathe without thinking. Place number 2, overheated bedrooms, the hidden sleep killer. Here's a myth many people still believe: older adults need to stay warmer even while sleeping. It sounds caring, even protective, but in reality, it's hurting their sleep, their heart, and their brain more than they realize. Let's unpack this with science. As we age, our body becomes more sensitive to temperature changes. But instead of adapting to cooler, restful environments, many seniors crank up the heater, bundle under heavy blankets, or seal off all ventilation just to stay warm. The result? Overheated bedrooms, where body temperature can't drop the way it's supposed to during deep sleep. And here's the shocking part: your brain needs your body to cool down at night to enter the deep restorative sleep stages that regulate blood pressure, memory, and immune health. A study from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that people who sleep in rooms warmer than 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius, had fragmented sleep, increased nighttime wake-ups, and higher cortisol levels, which means more stress and less healing. Over time, this leads to weakened heart function, increased stroke risk, mood swings, and memory fog. And the worst part? Most people don't even connect the dots. They just wake up tired, stiff, and irritated, blaming age, not their thermostat. So what should you do instead? Set your bedroom temperature to 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. Yes, it may sound cold, but your body will thank you. Use breathable cotton sheets, avoid heated blankets, and let in fresh air before bed if possible. If you get chilly easily, keep your extremities warm, like wearing light socks, but allow your core to stay cool, because sometimes the secret to waking up refreshed isn't in your diet or your medication. It's in the air you're sleeping in. Place number 3, long hours on the living room couch. The comfort zone that quietly weakens you. We all love comfort, and after 60, you've earned every bit of it. But here's a question most people never ask. What if the comfiest place in your home is also the one that's slowly draining your strength? Let's be real, the living room couch becomes a favorite spot. Watching the news, catching up on old movies, or scrolling through your phone, it feels like rest. But hours on a soft, slouched surface can gradually undo the strength you've built up over decades. Here's why it's dangerous. Sitting in a deeply cushioned, low-sitting couch causes your hip flexors to tighten, your spine to slump, and your core muscles to deactivate. Over time, this leads to reduced posture stability, increased back pain, slower reflexes when trying to stand up or move quickly. In fact, a 2022 review from the American Journal of Geriatric Medicine found that older adults who spent more than 4 hours a day on soft-seated surfaces had a significantly higher risk of falls, balance loss, and even early frailty. It's not that sitting is bad, it's how and where you sit that matters. So what's the smarter alternative? Choose a chair with firm support that allows your knees to remain level with your hips. Keep your feet flat on the ground and your spine upright. Use a small cushion behind your lower back if needed. And, this is crucial, get up every 30 to 45 minutes to stretch, walk around, or even just stand for a minute. Movement breaks help keep blood flowing and joints loose. Remember, losing strength doesn't happen in the gym, it happens in the small daily habits. And one of the biggest culprits might just be the cozy spot you love the most. So the next time your favorite movie starts, ask yourself, am I relaxing or am I slowly shutting my body down? By now you've seen something truly eye-opening. It's not always about adding more vitamins, supplements, or gym routines. Sometimes it's about removing the things that quietly drain your health, your strength, and your will to live fully. The wrong foods? They don't just affect your weight. They mess with your heart, your brain, and even your independence. The wrong sleeping spots? They may seem innocent, but they can rob you of deep rest, increase your fall risk, or even strain your lungs and spine. The wrong environments? These are the silent traps, comfort zones that slowly turn into weakness zones while you're too distracted to notice. But here's the beautiful part. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You just need awareness. And you already took the first step by watching this video till the end. Because after 60, your body speaks more clearly, but more quietly. You won't get loud warning signs. You'll get stiffness, fatigue, brain fog. But if you listen, if you adjust the small things, you'll get something back that's far more powerful than youth. You'll get energy, mobility, peace of mind, and most of all, the dignity to age on your own terms. So if this video helps shift your mindset, even just a little, then comment below, I choose smart living. Let others know that health after 60 isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. And if you know someone who might be doing these habits unknowingly, send them this video. It might be the one thing that helps them change their routine and change their future. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strong, and never stop learning.